Karthik.
Yes. All right. Team, welcome. Welcome everyone to the Selenium basic training, the day one that is starting today. So for the next few sessions, we will go through a series of tutorials on Selenium automation tool, how we go about learning the most important fundamentals and get going. Manoj is going to be the trainer. He's there on the call along with us, and he's going to walk you through at length. But there are a couple of areas that I'll be pitching in along with Manoj for the basic training. Once we start the advanced training after the end of the basic training, I will be taking over and drive you through some um, in-depth on automation frameworks. So Manoj, on to you, please.
Thank you, Karthik. Hello, everyone. This is Manoj here, and we'll start with Selenium basic training. So I have a few slides for you, and we'll also go through a few polls to just get understanding about the audience we have. So let's first go to agenda, what we are going to cover today, and we'll talk about automation testing, what is all about and why we do, okay, just to get a brief idea. And then we'll talk about Selenium IDE, and then we'll talk about how we can install and uh, how we can use Selenium IDE. Okay, so this will cover in coming 1 or 2 sessions. Okay, and then we'll talk about what is Firebug, Firepath, and why we use. So and the end of the sessions, if you have any question, so we can talk on this. All right. So let me launch one poll, and please try to answer that. So my first poll is, let me launch this, and hope you on your screen it will be visible, so try to answer this. So do you have experience in automation testing? Okay, so this is just to get idea, means from where we should start. And if you have experience in automation testing, so I got 88%, 62 88% no, 14% yes in 70% vote. Okay, we got 81% people have voted. Please vote, and so that we can quickly finish this poll.
So guys, these polls are very critical for us to get an overall idea about the audience. Irrespective of the result, we will still go through the basic fundamentals. But to vote, please click on the screen on your option that you selected.
Okay, so I'm going to close this. We got 90% people have voted. Okay, so let me close this. We got more than 90% people have voted. So we got 18% of people who are joined this session now, they know about automation testing, and 82% are saying they don't have experience in automation testing. So it
Okay,
means,
I'm
yes,
going to quickly can you share the poll results so that everyone can see them as well.
okay, sure, Karthik, let me try.
All right, there you go.
So sorry. So we have 82% means people who are I think they are very new to automation testing, because uh, they say that they don't have experience in automation testing. So we'll talk on this from the basic. Don't worry, people have who don't have any experience in automation testing. So we'll talk why we do automation testing, why it is required, a little bit of brief idea will provide, and then we'll start with our main topic. Okay, so let me launch another poll, and that will give you also uh, a brief idea to me and Karthik to understand where you are. So I'm going to launch this poll. Are you a beginner in software testing? Okay, so some people who have joined maybe from a non-technical background, or some people have already experience in manual testing and they want to join automation testing. So just want to understand where you are right now. So try to answer this poll, and then we'll share the results. So till now we got 70% of vote, and 58% are saying they don't have experience in software testing. Okay, please try to vote. We got 80% vote, and I'm going to close in another 10 seconds. Okay, so please try to answer this poll, and I'm going to close this in another 2 seconds. All right, so we got uh, we got 87% of vote, and out of that 33% people are saying they have experience in software testing. So I assume uh, number of people have who already working in software testing. Okay, and
The
50.
other women, are you beginner in software testing? So yes is the 33% are the people who are beginner to software testing. The 54% are the members who have been working in software testing. So when we said software testing, we're referring more towards manual, I assume, and that is what the answers are for, right?
Yes, Karthik, and 13% we got who say they are not from technical background. All right, so let's get to agenda, and then we'll start our main topic, that is Selenium IDE. Okay, so what is automation testing? Okay, shall I expect some answers in chat? You can answer in chat. What is automation testing? Because I have some people who have experience. Okay, can I get some answer? Okay, so meanwhile, let me explain. Let me increase the font size.
Manoj, we can't see your screen yet. I guess you have to close the poll.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. So I hope everybody can see my screen, and first we'll talk about little bit about automation testing. What is automation testing and why we do? Okay, so as I was asking, if you can answer in chat. So I got some answers. Yes, let me go through it. Uh, with the help of automation tools, we can do it. Okay, that's good. But what is the automation testing? Another answer is automating manual test cases into automation. Okay, that is good. It is a way to automate the steps using a tool that is done manually. Okay, that's so we got a very good idea here. People have idea what is automation testing. So let me also explain what is automation testing. So I'll start with, suppose you have uh, 10 test cases. Okay, so you have 10 test cases, and this 10 test cases in your application you have to execute every time. Okay, every time any bugs is fixed, any release is going to happen, so you have to execute these 10 test cases. And suppose these are end-to-end scenarios and this is complex test cases. So generally one test case consume around 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, if I say so, 10 test cases, suppose how it will take manpower. Okay, and every time we have to do, suppose there is a crucial release or there is a time crunch. So do you think in one day or some in very a few hours can we execute all these test cases and log bugs? All this can happen. So it can be managed, but suppose the number of test cases is increased to 100. Suppose there are new features has been added and a lot of complex test cases are created. So test cases now increase to 100 and each test case takes 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So do you think it is feasible for any manual tester to go and uh, uh, retest, execute these test cases, 100 test cases uh, in every release, every bug fixes? Okay, so that is very hectic task will be, okay, for that person. So this is the region we identify number of test cases that can be included in regression testing. People who have experience in software testing, they might know about this, what is regression testing. So we figure out how many test cases we require to execute on daily basis on every bug fixes, okay, or every release cycle, number of test cases we have to execute. So those test cases can be a part of regression testing. So suppose out of 100 test cases, I have chosen 80 test cases, okay, that can be part of regression testing. And this 80 test cases I have to execute every time a bug is fixed, every time there is a release, or every on some places there is a build concept, so you have to execute daily 80 test cases. All right, so you have to do manually, then it will be a very tough job for any QA engineer. So that's why automation testing comes in picture. Okay, so there are a number of tools available in the market. If I talk, earlier we had qtp, now we have uft. Okay, we have selenium. Okay, so number of tools we have, okay, which we can use to automate these test cases. Okay, and whenever required, we can with one click or uh, manually also we can start execution, or with one click and we can start execution, and uh, we can get the results within 1 or 2 hours. Okay, with and so see how much hours we have reduced. So suppose it takes your whole day or 2 days to execute all these test cases, so we have reduced to 2 to 3 hours, right? So now we can see how many number of hours we saved. So this is where automation actually help us. Okay, so automation testing is nothing but, as I got answer also, we use some tools. Okay, with the help of that tool we try to automate our test cases with uh, scripting and all, and then whenever required we can execute. Okay, so it helps a lot when we uh, see the uh, efficiency and working hours, so those can be increased at a higher level. Okay, so let me go to back to the agenda. Okay, that is introduction to Selenium IDE. So I hope you got the a little bit idea what is automation testing and what kind of tool we can use to automate. So these are what I talked is functional testing tools. Okay, so basically we'll talk about Selenium here. Okay,
Manoj,
yes, Karthik.
I want to add a few points on automation testing for the audience. So let me make myself the presenter. presenter
Sure.
for a quick second. All right, team. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Karthik.
So this is how I talk about automation testing, team. So there are two portions to it, automation and testing. Like most of you have also answered, automation is a process where we take anything that we do manually and try and have a robot or a tool or a system to do it for us. That is primarily automation, team. Any activity that we're doing manually, we change it into this kind of a process which can be done independently without a human intervention as little as possible. And I'm only talking about automation right now. We're not talking about testing. Okay. Now, the three main concepts that I always try and emphasize when it comes to automation is E, R, A. Let's talk about any process that is done manually. The simplest example is a car manufacturing plant. We can have a lot of factory workers who are assembling a vehicle. So they'll put the chassis, the body, the paint, and so on. The same thing is automated to a large extent using robots, which will do the same activity. But unless they meet these three criteria, automation is of no use. The first is efficiency, team. Efficiency is basically about how efficient is it. If manually one process is taking an hour to do, will the robot be able to do it in less than 1 hour? And if it uses X amount of resources to do it manually, can it do in less than X amount of resources? Resources are just not humans. They're also systems, tools, money, infrastructure, everything. That is efficiency. The second is reusability. Are we going to reuse it over and over, that automation process, or is it for one time? Because to build a tool, a system, or a robot is a lot of effort. It is not simple. It is a lot of investment of money, time, and resources. So if we are not going to reuse or repeat that activity, then automation again will not fit in. So we know that we're going to reuse the same thing over and over again. So when the manual testing goes on for an hour, or sorry, manual process, I'm not talking testing yet, goes on for an hour, and we're doing it in less than 1 hour. But it took me 10 hours, let's say, to build this automation. And this is taking me, let's say now, half an hour. So unless I repeat it for 5 cycles or 10 cycles, we will not see the results coming in. And the final one is A. Can you guess, team, what A could be? Which is very, very critical, which is fundamentally the most important part of automation. Efficiency, reusability, and there's one final one called A, which is kind of the benchmark for all automation that we do. I've got two answers which is correct. Anyone else want to take a wild guess? What is A, team? All right, great. So I've got amazing answers. I'll read out the incorrect answers without your name first, and then we'll talk about. Not incorrect, but they will apply. But there's the A that I'm talking about is much more powerful. Accountability, adaptability, accessibility is what I've seen, which are different from the actual answer that I want to talk about. It is accuracy. End of the day, if you go about creating a factory and instead of fitting the front door and they do it to the back door, or instead of putting the bigger size wheels in the rear, you put it in the front, and you lose accuracy, there's no point of converting a process from manual to automatic. That becomes a huge challenge. It has to be accurate. And one of the other simple examples is a manual transmission vehicle or an automatic transmission. Most of us, at least in the US, we drive automatic transmission, right? So does it mean that there are no gears in it? No. The gears are there with the car, but then automatically they get changed depending on your driving. They are efficient, we reuse them often, and they have to be accurate. You're going at cruising at, let's say, 60 miles an hour, suddenly you don't want the vehicle to come to the first gear. And if it comes to the first gear, you'll have a huge issue there. So it has to be accurate as well. These are the three fundamental benchmarks, team, that we have to always remember when we're converting something from manual to automation. The reason we're doing it is to get benefits because of these. Now, when it comes to testing, so we spoke about automation. Now, when we talk about testing, we primarily are referring to the fact that testing is all about making sure that a specific process or application is working correctly. So Manoj, like you mentioned, there's a manual testing process where we have multiple test cases and we need to automate that. Now, why will we automate that? Simple concept. It has to be efficient, reusable, and accurate. So with the touch of a button, we're able to execute the same things over and over again. All right. Now, to do this manual testing to automation testing, there are tools in the market that really help us. One of the most fundamental tools which has been there for long is our qtp from HP, or which is now called as UFT. And then came Selenium down the line almost a decade back or a little over. That has really taken over the market, primarily because QTP is a paid version. Selenium is a free licensed tool. Apart from this, the advantages and disadvantages for both run a long mile. Now, we are focusing on Selenium. So we're going to introduce you to Selenium, how we're going to work with it, and why will it help us. While Manoj will show you the Selenium IDE, what it is all about, where do we start from, and then we'll also get into element identification hopefully in tomorrow's session. I will start pitching in as and when needed, and I will walk you through an application UI. So this application is what we're going to use to focus on learning automation using Selenium. All right. So any of these decisions are your making, but at the same time, I will walk you through in the next few minutes about that. So Manoj, on to you, please, on to go on with the Selenium IDE.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for this excellent explanation. So, okay, let me make myself presenter. All right, team. So hope you all can see my screen. So we'll start with Selenium IDE now. And so what is Selenium IDE? Okay, so Selenium IDE is a Firefox plugin. All right. So we'll see how we can install, but it is a add-on to Firefox, and it will not work. This Selenium IDE, please pay attention that this Selenium IDE will not work with any other browser. Okay, so it will not work with Chrome or Internet Explorer or Safari. So if you want to use the Selenium IDE, you have to use Firefox. Okay. So there are questions, what is the best use of Selenium IDE and are we still using it? So practically, if you say we do not use in real life projects Selenium IDE, okay, we use WebDriver. So we'll come to that part later, but this is a starting point and people should also aware because it's a part of Selenium suite. Okay, so you should understand how it works. It will also give a good idea to understand Selenium commands and how it works, okay, before moving to WebDriver. As Karthik has mentioned, it is open source. Okay, so anybody can use without any cost, without any license. Okay, so it supports record and playback. Okay, so a lot of the tools available in the market, they support this record and play kind of thing. Okay, if you have aware of QTP or UFT, they also provide record and replay. So in the similar way, Selenium IDE also provides, so you can uh, record some basic flow of your um, test cases, and then you can replay, or whatever you want to do modifications you can do. So okay, and it's a complete development environment team. It's just not an add-on. You can create your scripts, you can create your test cases, and you can convert, you can change in your format when you want to use that with your Eclipse. So we'll see how we can use, so that you can, there are a lot of options available. Okay, so let me first go to Firefox, and we'll see how we can install Selenium IDE. Okay, so let me go to, so there's a two-way team. I'll explain how we can install. So let me go to seleniumh.org. Okay, so this is the official website of Selenium, and we can go to this download part. Okay, and scroll down to, so let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, so see, Selenium IDE plugins. Okay, so from here you can install Selenium IDE. Okay, so Selenium IDE is plugin that provide new improved features, so all these things you can explore, but I will tell you how we can install. Okay, so let me open the add-ons of this Firefox. Okay, so from tools you can go to add-on. Okay, and see, I have already have Selenium IDE with me here. So if you don't have, what I can do is I can search Selenium IDE. Okay, and I'll get the results. So here you will get options. Okay, so I may have that Selenium IDE installed. That's why. So see, Selenium IDE button. So just one simple toolbar button to Selenium IDE. So you can install by here. Okay, clicking here, install, and it will be uh, added to your Firefox. So once you, it's a very simple process to install Selenium IDE on your Firefox. So also please make sure that you are using latest version of Firefox, or at least later on that uh, Firefox 45. Okay, so that's why other add-ons will also work. So once you have installed, okay, I hope you everybody got how we can install Selenium IDE. You can go to tools, Firefox tools, and click on add-on manager, search Selenium IDE, and search it and click install. Okay, so it can be installed. Now how can I open this? So once it is installed, there are two ways to open it. Okay, so I can click to tools. Okay, and I can see Selenium IDE here. Okay, another way is I can click here. Okay, I can go to developer, and from here also I can launch Selenium IDE. So there are three ways you can launch Selenium IDE. So that is more preferable. Go to tools and launch Selenium IDE. So let me launch Selenium IDE. Okay, so this is Selenium IDE. I have a version 2.9.1. Okay, so when you open Selenium IDE, by default it will be in recording mode. So let me stop the recording. So this is this green button, you can click record or stop to record. Okay, any question guys on installation part? Okay, let me see. where we can see code for Selenium IDE software as it open source. So you can go to official website of GitHub, and there you can find all these source code with you can find all the information here on Selenium website, and they maintain GitHub where they keep all these source code, so you can go and check there. All right. So Karthik.
Yes, Manoj. All right. So team, you've seen primarily how you get Selenium IDE. Very simple, like Manoj showed. Add-ons through Firefox, or go to seleniumhq.org, downloads page, and you'll be able to download it from there. So Selenium IDE is very critical for you to install going forward. Now let's keep that aside for a little while and talk about something very important. So you remember we were talking about automation testing, right? So what we saw right now is a tool that we will use for automation. Now let's talk about a very simple manual testing process for a given application. And then we will talk about how can we automate that using Selenium IDE. That way you'll get an amazing idea of how things will work. Now, for the sake of our learning and for the sake of your practice, we're gonna use an upcoming product that we're developing with qtp.elearn called Eniot. Let me give you a very brief idea about what Eniot is, but for any of you who have not seen the JPACT orientation session video, you must watch it, please. All the details have been mentioned in that. All right. Now, upcoming events on itelearn.com. Go to Job Placement and Certified Training Program, and out here you will see two videos, which is an orientation. Look at the second video. At a very high level, the Eniot is a product that we're developing that is combining the power of Selenium, WebDriver, and core Java, and we're combining many automation frameworks into one hybrid model. And to be able to execute and work with this various modules that come, we're going to be using a web UI. So this web UI is under development, which also means that the parallel testing has to happen. So here is a simple login page where a user is able to log in with an email and password, and click on login. There's also a forgot password where a user is able to recover, or a new user is also able to register using user sign up. So this is the basic functionality that is available for us to take a peek look at right now. Once you click on login on this specific one, you will get at length towards the entire framework, but again it's under development. We will go through it as we go along. For the sake of the first couple of sessions, we'll focus on creating one simple test case team, which is a simple user login. So help me in talking about the test steps for it. So everything that we will do as part of this JPACT Selenium basic training, November 2016, we're going to put it into Google Drive and you'll all have access to it. So I've created a spreadsheet, and this, I'll call this as Eniot test cases. All right. Now, one of the fundamental things when it comes to learning automation testing is that I strongly believe that you do not need any prerequisite for this. Not manual testing, not programming, nothing. Whatever you require, we will teach you as part of it. But the basics of what a test case is very important, that you need to be aware to. All right. In this case, we will talk about a scenario that a user performs as an operation on a given application. It is a web-based application. So what is the first step that the user performs, team? Can someone tell me? So this is step one. What is it that the user will do? Open a browser, correct? What is step two? We then navigate to that specific URL, right? We open a browser, navigate to the URL for that application. Step 3, what do we want to do here? I want to enter a email ID, password, and click on login. So enter email ID. 4 is enter password. 5 is click login. 6 is confirm successful login. Alright. Now here is a manual testing process. Okay. Now this is a basic simple layout. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. I'll call this as a step number. Okay. This is the step name or detail. Now this is a manual process. Do you understand? Yes or no? If I give you this information and say, hey guys, test this out, let me know how it works. Are you in a position to understand it clearly without any confusion and be able to test it? Yes or no, team? Okay. Now, when it comes to automation, I need to teach a tool how it works. Okay. This is very, very critical, team. The fundamentals of automation testing is being explained here. Unless you learn this particular topic and how Selenium IDE works, there is no point in going to Selenium WebDriver and the more advanced. The fundamental thing about automation is taking a manual process and converting it into an automation. Here a human is going to be executing this, but here it's going to be a robot that will be executing this. All right. Now, if I need to teach this robot the manual process, I need to make sure that I provide all the right information. Automation is a lot like teaching, team. It is hand-holding a robot which is by itself very idiotic and has no intelligence by itself. It is absolutely dumb. It will just do as you say. You're saying manually you understand, but I refuse to say that you will understand it manually. Why? Open a browser. Which browser do you want to open? There are half a dozen popular browsers in the market, correct? And there's so many versions. You want to open the correct browser because this application may be only working in Firefox, not on IE or Chrome. So I need to provide the detail. Navigate to the URL. What is the URL? Enter email ID. Which is that email ID? Password. What will it be? Click login. This seems fair because you can see easily there's a login button here. This will not make a mistake. Okay, so this is fine. Yes, understood. We're talking about manual process, team. Confirm successful login. How do we confirm? Let's say we just log in. This application is right now has the ability to log in without anything, and I want to see that welcome is getting displayed here. Okay. How do we confirm? How do we confirm? How do we know? Now, to do this, you need to provide additional information, and that information is basically your test data. Now, let's say which browser. I want to do it in Firefox. What is the URL? I'm going to copy this. And put that email ID. Let's say I'll just say kk@anyot. Oops. Everyone with me, team, you following? We're taking the manual process into the automation. Password, let's just say this is the password. This is understood. How? We want to make sure that we see welcome message gets displayed. Now this makes sense as a manual testing. If I send this to you, you are able to understand that yes, what is to be done. Fair enough, everyone? Do I make sense? If I didn't provide you this information, you will not be able to perform the same exact steps. When it comes to testing in a global world where you have test engineers working in different parts of the world everywhere. You need to have very, very clear documentation so that someone testing here and someone testing here is doing exactly the same thing. All right. Now, if this is the manual process, how do we automate it? To teach automation to a tool like Selenium, I need to provide something additional, and that is very critical. There are two main aspects when it comes to teaching this kind of a dumb tool as to how to do it. Lovely drawings, right, by my kids. They use my Surface Pro so extensively and create some amazing backgrounds for me. All right. Very simple, team. I need to tell an instruction to a robot to perform an activity. Okay. I need to say do something. Okay. What is it that you want to do? Let's say that I am training a dog, a pet that I've recently got. Okay. I want it to go and, let's say, fetch the ball. Okay. What is it that I want it to do? I want it to fetch. That is an activity. But where should it fetch from? It should also be able to know where that ball is. I have to give the location for that. When it comes to automation, that is exactly what we need to provide for the automation tool, the what and the where. When a human looks at the sheet, it's very easy for them to understand exactly because we are able to visually see something and interpret what has to be done. When it comes to automation, it needs additional information. What is that additional information? Selenium IDE is going to help us do that. Let me see if I've installed it. Actually, I didn't install yet. So I'm quickly installing Selenium IDE, and I don't think I need to restart, but let me restart. Team, I actually planned for a 60 minutes webinar, but maybe we'll take 15 minutes additional because there are certain topics that we need to cover today. So once it is installed, if you go under tools, hey, why can't I see it? I just installed, right? Add-ons, Selenium IDE is here. Pop up, click on the toolbar. Add-ons. It should show up under tools.
Karthik, can you go to that seleniumhq.org? From there you can install. Try to install. Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe it is, so I'm going to go to download and do Control F and search for IDE. Here it is. Download the latest release from addons.mozilla.org. Add to Firefox. There you go. Now this should do it. So team, you've seen, right? If through add-ons it's not working, then do it this way like I showed you right now. Very simple. Go to seleniumhq.org, which is the home page for Selenium. Go to downloads, search for IDE, and click on the tool that I've shown. Let's click on Alt, Tools. There you go. So you know Selenium IDE is installed if you, in the menu bar under Tools, you see Selenium IDE team. Now let's open up Selenium IDE and let's take a quick look. So I'm going to put the IDE towards one side and my browser towards the other side. And here's my application. Let me close every other tab. Understand one thing, team, about Selenium IDE. Okay. I saw a good question from one of the members saying, do we still use IDE? Note this, team. Selenium IDE is the fundamental foundation stone. There are a lot of basics that it will teach us. Okay. And we will also use it for something called as element identification very extensively. You need to learn Selenium IDE, but you don't need to work on it. Okay, so you may not work on it going forward, but you need to learn. Okay, within Selenium IDE there are multiple ways of working. One is record and playback, which Manoj was also mentioning. The second is writing our own custom script. These two you need to be aware, team, and then we will be able to go into the other area of element identification and so on. So please do not ignore these topics, very critical. A lot of times the reason students fail is because as a trainer we will give you a guide as to how you need to proceed. You have to follow it, team. It could be slow, but it's very critical. Now, we all know the steps manually. Now let's see how we will automate that using the Selenium IDE. Before I do that, let me give a quick overview of what Selenium IDE and the UI. Can you see this? On the left side there is a box. This is a big white area, another area out here, few buttons, some menu options and so on. I don't want you to focus on any of this. Forget it totally. As we keep going, you will learn what is the purpose of each and everything. I am okay if you don't master everything on Selenium IDE team. That is absolutely fine. But there are certain important aspects you need to be aware. Alright. Tomorrow when you go for an interview, people will not question how good are you in IDE. They'll say how good are you in WebDriver or Java, C#, Python, PHP and so on. Or they will talk about frameworks. And that will be our focus area once we go through these basics. Alright. The first and foremost thing, even what Manoj was mentioning, is the record button. By default, it is recording. So record is nothing but an instruction that we're passing to this tool called Selenium IDE that, hey Selenium, listen, I'm going to do certain activities on an application in the Firefox browser. Look at what I'm doing and read those, understand those well, because you will have to repeat it. Okay, that is what this record is all about. Now we have the website. I'm going to enter an email address here, like I said, kk@something.com. okay, dummy email team, and I'm going to hit tab. Do you notice something's happening out here, team? That is very important. It has generated something called as a base URL. Then there is something called as a command, target and value generated. What are they? We will come to it slowly, but let's complete this process and see how it works. So entered a password and I hit a tab. So whatever password I entered, if you see, hey, it's coming out here in the value and out here as well, whatever email ID that I entered. And there's something called type. Yes, I did type. So it's trying to make sense. This is the language Selenium IDE understands, but we also need to understand as we go along. Now let's click on login. Once I click on login, I have gone into the next page. Would you like Firefox to remove this login? No, let me close this. I don't want that. Where is that? Where is that icon? I don't see that anymore. But at least let's say that this is what it is. Dashboard is there. Is it coming or not? Okay, till here. I'm just checking it myself. Now I will say stop recording. This is a test case, team. So we have automated all the steps except for the last one. Alright, so I've done the automation for all the steps till confirmation. This is not done. Now, how do we know that Selenium has learned it correctly? All you have to do is say, run this test case or play this current test case, and it will perform the same steps again. Did you notice the actions happening on the browser? Everyone? Now, it was super fast. That's good, right? So efficiency is much quicker. It has done it so quickly. Just watch this. It just went in kind of a second. Now, there are few things that have happened when we did this execution, team. There's something green coming here. There is something called the steps that we're doing is getting logged here, and everything seems to be working green. Now I want to slow down this test. So I just scroll this speed to something out here and rerun. Hey, but the whole purpose of automation is ERA, right? Efficiency, reusability, accuracy. Why am I reducing the efficiency? Because I want to learn Selenium first. I want to make sure that how is it working, and then I want to increase the speed gradually. Now let's say run this test case again. Do you see each and every step is being executed one after the other in a very systematic manner. Now Selenium IDE has learned this operation. How? By simply watching what I'm doing using this record feature and putting it. But like I told you, unless we know exactly the what and the where, automation cannot be achieved. Remember this? Now, where within the Selenium IDE is it understanding what to do? The first column out here called command is the what team. This is the activity that one needs to perform, like open what? A website. I have the base URL and followed by the entire URL. This is the website. So open seems to be a command which is similar to our open command here, where we are opening a browser. Where are we navigating to the URL? We are navigating in the same one. Great. So one command to do both the activities. Perfect. Next command is type. Type, what do we want to type? This is the information we want to type. Type is like a user action. But where? This is the target. How did Selenium know that it has to put this value in the username field and not in the password field? How did it know? The way it knew is using this target team. The target is the way through which Selenium knows where it has to perform. So your command becomes the what. This is the what. Everyone with me, team? This fundamental logic is so important. Trust me, when I do interviews for automation engineers, they don't know this fundamental, I will not even continue. So the command is what we want to do. The target is where we want to perform. This is very, very critical in the starting point for automation testing. Now, I have not done the final step, correct? Where I want to see that the dashboard is getting displayed. So how do I check for this? Very simple. Right click on this and say go, and so if you're using Firefox team, you'll see a lot of commands out here, like opening this thing or show all available commands. You remember I said the commands here are what? Target is the where. All available commands is on this text called dashboard. What is it that I can do? I want to verify to see if the text is there called dashboard. Can you see something similar to it? Verify text. There is assert title, assert text, wait for title, wait for text, store title, store text. So many commands. I seem to be more interested in verify text. But am I sure if verify text is the command that I want? Click on that step. See, as soon as I clicked on it, it got added here. You will see a reference out here, which is a good guide to tell you what that will do. It basically gets the text of an element and makes sure that it matches with what you expect. So for every command that you have a good reference manual attached with Selenium IDE, and that gives you an overall idea about what it is. Now, as a simple advice team, do not focus too much on what are all the different available commands within Selenium, because there are dozens and dozens of them. Okay? As you go along, as you keep using and automating different applications, you will learn. So I'm saying let's go in the practical route rather than the theoretical route where you first learn all the commands and then start working. Alright, now I have added a new step to my overall test. Let's run this again. Now observe team, all the steps are executed, but there's one step which is darker green, correct? All this are light green and this is darker green. Why? Because I'm trying to verify something out here and it is a test that I'm performing. So when I perform a test, it shows automatically that, hey, did the test pass or fail? And hence it is a darker shade of green. If a step is executed correctly, then it is a light green. Now let's say I want to play around with this and kind of affect a dashboard. I'll write and execute this. So it is so interesting to just play around with this tool team. Now what happened? I got a red here, it says I ran it once, failure once, but there's no red here, right? Because I'm highlighted on that step. Now do you see? It says it failed. Why? Go to your log and see exactly what happened. Actual value dashboard did not match what I gave. This is the concept team of how you take an automation and start working. Now, when we come back tomorrow, we will create another test case and automate using Selenium IDE, but we will not do the record. We will write it ourselves. But to be able to do it, we need to understand this target. And target is nothing but the element identification. How do we identify each and every element that is there in the page? What are elements and how do we go about automating them? So we saw from a manual process how easily we could shift it to automation using Selenium IDE. Okay. Now, for any of you who are for the first time seeing Selenium IDE or anything to do with automation, did it look tough or confusing in any way? Or did it look very simple because we went in a structured way? We said, what do we do manually? Do we understand that? What additional information is required? And how do we go about automating? Simple record and run. Right? Any questions, team, on what we've done today? There are a lot of questions that came up earlier in the session while Manoj was presenting and we couldn't address them. So please repeat your question if you have, because we can't scroll up and look at it. And I know, Manoj, you also wanted to talk about Firepath and Firebug, right? Do you want to do that now?
Let's talk tomorrow, Karthik. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll take that tomorrow. Let's see, questions. I need to learn HTML code. Yes, Kushal, basics of HTML programming is important. And when we present tomorrow, the element identification portion, at that time I'll tell you how to learn what you need. Okay. Take Selenium course. Which one would be okay? So Amer, long question. Let me read it out loud for everyone. Hi Karthik, you've answered my previous question regarding automation framework and told me to take Selenium course. Which one would be more beneficial for me? JPACT or Selenium automation testing? As per my personal growth, I'm very much interested in JPACT developer course, but not sure how it will help me at my current job. Also, do you have separate online courses to develop Java skills? Okay. So Amir, very simple. If you're already working, forget JPACT for now. Just take Selenium. Okay. Take Selenium, basic, advanced, and the live project. Forget about Java. Forget about anything, guys. Once you're into this program, all that you require, we will handhold and we will teach you on it. Okay. Okay, question, installation question. Is the installation instructions work fine for the Mac OS as well? Yes, Kiran, absolutely yes. So whatever we're doing on a Windows platform, you can do exactly the same on Mac. iOS, I meant. Which one best exercise, RP or CS? Okay, RP was record and playback. CS was custom scripting. That's what Kushal is saying. Guys, I hate record and playback, trust me. And you will hate it too. Why? Because there's no control. Okay, and it's too blinded. It is absolutely going in a very unplanned way. So custom scripts is what it is, be it in Selenium IDE or in WebDriver. We need to know Java. Absolutely, you need to know Java. Then I will teach what you need to know. Okay, we have the tutorials lined up, so you don't need to. Very simple, team. One last time I'm mentioning this again to you all. Whatever is needed, we will take care of it as part of the training. Okay. Now you don't have to come with any prior knowledge that is at all required. Some MS Office, more than enough. HTML basics, great. If not, I'll tell you where to learn from. What is alternate to record? Custom script. You write your own script, and that is what we will do tomorrow. Can you please share this Google Doc? Yes. So this folder that we have will be shared with all the members team. We will be aligning all the information into this folder and we'll be sharing these with all our members. Do note, for some of you who are attending this as a demo for today, you do not have access to all the premium content that is coming up forward. But once you take your decision, all the information and content will be shared with you. What else? Questions? Where are they? Sorry. And playback. Okay. How do you intend to teach Java, C# required for this training in such a short period of time? 5 to 10 classes of 1 hour duration. So what we're doing, Jag, is number one, we got to understand a couple of things. We are not learning Java to become a software developer. We are learning Java to become a software test engineer. At the same time, there is a lot of Java that needs to be learned. And it is so easy that you will be surprised yourself as long as it is presented in the right manner. I just require about 2 to 3 hours of training to teach what core Java basics is required. Now, we are not doing 5 to 10 classes of 1 hour duration. We're doing 1.5 hour duration. For the basic training, we will have very little Java in it. Once it comes to the advanced training, we will go in detail on Java, frameworks, and WebDriver. Are you going to upload the video? Yes. So team, after end of every session, we will actually share the video with our team. They will encode it and then upload it into either YouTube or our secure server, and then you will find it on the website. All right. Manoj, any other points that you wanted to add for today?
No, Karthik.
All right. Do you give assignments for rest of the week? As we go along, yes. But as of now, the biggest assignment, team, for everyone is to follow what I'm doing and repeat that. That's it. Okay. You do not have to do anything additional, but repeat this. You have to master the basics and fundamentals very, very clearly. That is critical for success. Okay, another question. This is, will you also teach us the manual? Can a person be an automation engineer without being a manual tester? So first answer, no, I will not teach you manual testing. I will teach you straight away automation testing. Second answer is, can a person be an automation engineer without being a manual tester? Absolutely yes. Because manual testing is a process, team. It is like a life cycle. It is a flow of how we do certain things. Automation testing is a very tool specific, technically driven area, and that's got a very specific scope. But whatever basics are needed from a testing perspective, that will help, and that will automatically get covered once we keep going through automation testing. What we're doing right now is we're learning automation first, team. Testing will come to later. So our focus is right now, how do we automate something? Testing will be very simple at the end, and we will be covering that as we go along. All right. Team, a lot of participants in this session, many questions, so I'm going about answering them. So hopefully under 5 minutes we should be done. Videos are posted on YouTube or your website. So very simple, team. The free videos, demo videos, we put on YouTube and then we put it onto our website. Okay. The premium videos, we put it into a secure server that we have, and then we put it on the website. So to access the free videos, you can do it directly on a website or a YouTube channel. If you want to do it, the premium ones, you have to be logged in. A payment link and how long is this course, basic, intermediate and advanced Selenium. So all the details are out here on the website team. So please look at the website or contact our sales team. We'll be happy to help you out. All right. So IDE go to that job placement and certified training. Just scroll down on this. I talk completely about this certified training program. And we're talking about batch A, which is for the beginners and advanced. It starts with manual testing all the way. That is the one from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Pacific. The batch B, which is advanced, straight away with Selenium, is the 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. slot. And this is the Selenium basic level, advanced level, and then live project. And then, but the ENIOT, detailed training on ENIOT is only for JPACT members team. Please note that. This we cannot do it as a separate one because this is complete certification training and that will cover that. But here are the details. Any other further questions on the payments and so on, please contact the sales team. All right, team, what else? Great. I think so we're towards the end of it. Thank you so much, all of you joining in. Appreciate it. We'll see you back tomorrow. Same link for every day for the demo sessions. Once we go to the premium sessions, then we'll have different ones. Thank you all. Bye now. Take care. Thanks, Manoj.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Karthik. Bye.